Hey guys, welcome back to Pro Gun. Some of my subscribers have asked me to compare a Glock 21 45 ACP to a 1911 45 ACP. And I will make an attempt to do that, however, we are not comparing apples to apples here. Glock is a brand. The only manufacturer that makes Glock is Glock. The 1911 is a platform. There are many different companies out there that make a 1911. So what I like to do is go over some of the things that they have in common and some of the things they don't. So the things they have in common are the fan base. With either the 1911 or the Glock, people either love them or hate them. There never seems to be any middle of the road. They either lean one side or the other. Other thing is, they both shoot 45 ACP. 45 ACP is a huge chunk of lead. It's an awesome defense round. Reliability. 1911 won 2 world wars. The Glock, it's no accident that the majority of the law enforcement agencies across the country issue Glocks. And that's about as far as it goes. Regarding what they have in common. So we'll start with the differences. Differences are, the main difference is firing mechanism. 1911 uses a hammer. The hammer goes back, you pull the trigger, the hammer strikes the firing pin hits the primer on the cartridge, and the cartridge fires. Glock does not have a hammer. This is a striker fire system. Inside, underneath the frame, there's a striker pin that moves side to side. When you rack the slide on the Glock, once you rack it and pull it forward, the striker mechanism is held back under tension from the spring. When you pull the trigger, it releases the striker pin, and the striker pin hits the primer on the cartridge and it goes off. The safeties. The Glock has the typical split trigger here. You have to pull them both in order for the gun to fire. That's about it for Glock safeties. Basically, the safety on the Glock is keep your damn finger off the trigger. 1911's got 2 safeties. Proper way to carry a 1911 is with one in the chamber, pull back the hammer, gauge the safety. Matter of fact, you can't even put a safety on a 1911 unless the hammer is pulled back. Second safety is right under the dovetail. You need to push this back strap in with your hand firmly. Right? If you just pull the trigger, it won't go off. You need to push this in and then fire. Magazine capacity. The Glock 21 holds 13 rounds of 45 ACP. The 1911 holds 7 rounds. As far as the frame goes, Glock uses a polymer frame. It's very lightweight. It's very rugged plastic. 1911s are metal frames, which are very heavy. A fully loaded 1911 versus a fully loaded Glock 21. The Glock 21 is a good half-pound lighter. And a half-pound is a lot. I know I'm getting to the age where if I carry a fully loaded Glock all day, 7 days a week, doesn't really bother me. I carry a fully loaded 1911 for 2 to 3 days in a row, and my hip starts getting sore. Customization. You don't really have as many options with the Glock, especially for grips. You basically have tape-on grips like these Talons, or you have rubber slide-on grips like the Hogue grips. You could change the sights and the trigger, and that's about it for really customizing the looks of it. 1911. The nice thing about the 1911 platform is that any 1911 part from any other 1911 will work. So you can use a magazine from a Smith & Wesson, 1911 in this Colt or in the Springfield, they'll all work. They have a large assortment of grips. They make, G10 grips. They have acrylic grips. They have wooden grips. They have grips made out of pearl and ivy, etc. So you have a lot more options as far as customization goes. But overall, these are both very well performing guns. The trigger pull is almost identical. I believe Glock and 1911s rate their trigger pulls at 5.5 pounds. It's pretty damn close. I think the 1911 has a little bit more of a crisp trigger pull than the Glock does. So I'd give the trigger pull advantage to the Colt or the 1911 platform. But overall, you can't go wrong with either one of these. Typically, when you hear 45 ACP, a lot of people right away think of the 1911. Everybody doesn't want to carry a 1911. Some people like Glocks, Smith & Wessons. I was asked to compare these two, which is why I did that. There are also other manufacturers that make 45 ACPs that are not 1911s, but Glock is one of the most popular guns on the market, and I'm sure that's why my viewers asked me to compare those two. The last thing to mention too is that the 1911 is a little bit thinner than the Glock 21, so when you're carrying it, even though it's a little bit longer, when you're carrying it, it rides tighter to your body. The Glock has the typical blocky looking frame, and it is a little bit bulkier, but it is what it is. If you're a Glock fan, that's what the Glocks are. Looks wise, there's nothing sexy looking about a Glock. However, they are tactical looking though. I mean, it's just something really cool looking about a Glock. 1911s, some of them are, mediocre looking, and some of them are absolutely gorgeous. The finishes on them, on the 1911s, you can get nickel, you can get stainless steel, you can get blued, parkerized, you can, some of them are painted. Glock, they're all blued, and that's all there is. So if you're trying to make a decision between a 1911 and a Glock, I gave you the different options between the two of them. You can't make a mistake, and you can't go wrong with either one. I just wanted to show you what the differences was, and I hope this was of some value to you. Please, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. Like our videos so we can continue to bring you product reviews. Thanks for watching.